I'm here with Kyle Ince and Brandon Williams, and we're going to go over some ProjectWise statistics, some upcoming changes, um, custom folders, and then Brandon's going to do a demo of the early release of ProjectWise Drive. So, and we'll have some time for questions or announcements at the end. So, as we go along, if you have questions, throw them in the chat, and Kyle and I will try to answer them as we go along, and then we'll do some more at the end if we need to. So, yeah, Brandon, I guess take it away.
So we're just going to go ahead and get started with some fun facts here. We did this last time in January. I think January 28th was our last webinar, so we did skip February. So since January 28th, there's been some differences to the data source and statistically wise. So the number of documents actually went up 23,976. So we got a lot more documents in there. The file size to beat is still 13.3 gigs. That didn't change at all. That is the biggest document we have in ProjectWise. Average document size did drop a little bit, and then our total document file size went up 88 gigabytes. So we can kind of see those changes there. When it comes to folders, 16 is still the big one to beat. Hopefully no one beats that because that's quite a bit. Total number of folders and work areas was increased by 58,000. And to break that in between folders and work areas, you have your numbers here. Empties folders did go up quite a bit. Of course, when we create a project, there's a lot of empty folders, and then 500 of them being created. It kind of makes sense. And nothing really changed outside of that for maximum documents per populated folder average. The only thing in references wise, the number of documents with reference files did go up 3,501. Nothing else changed. Hopefully no one beats 98 attached references because that's quite a bit. Moving on to users, we did gain 35 users since January. The users per group did go up by 14, and the average users per group went up by 4. Outside of that, the inactivity for users did go down, so we're seeing a trend where there's more logins. And then the users who have never logged in went down by 34 since January. Users that have logged in, and back in January, since we had this webinar in January, we had December numbers. January, this was the top 10 for the most logins for ProjectWise. And then in February, this is our top 10 as well. So you can see Robert was, or if you go by Bob, sorry about that, is in January. And then in February, we have Reggie. So to go over some ProjectWise updates, this is nothing new. We've actually made this planning folder change last year sometime. For those who don't know or remember, we did take out 3 folders in the 100 planning folder. We made this change to the template. So all new projects that were created in ProjectWise, all new projects created in ProjectWise no longer have these folders. However, older projects still might have these folders. So if you see the funding legislation or the STIP folder in the 100 planning, that means that you had an older project made with an older template. So what we ended up doing for the new template is moving these 3 folders into OO admin. So you can see that they've been added here, and they took over the Ohio DOT admin workflow. Okay. The reason for this change is we actually wanted to open up 100 planning to consultants. So these 3 folders are the folders that we did not want consultants seeing. So we went ahead and moved those. To go over the Ohio DOT admin workflow, those 3 folders that they currently have now. You can see that administrator has full control. All Ohio DOT users have create, delete, read, and write access under Ohio DOT admin with that workflow. Everyone else has no access. And then we gave the Ohio DOT read-only access, read access, of course. With the Ohio DOT planning workflow, what it currently is now is administrator full control. All Ohio DOT users have read access, everyone else no access. And if you're a part of the Ohio DOT planning group, you'll have create, read, delete, and write access. We have all external organizations highlighted in yellow here. This is not added in yet, but I did highlight this in yellow because we are going to be adding in this weekend, sorry. So if I go back to here, if you have an old folder with these 3 folders, this weekend, we're going to go ahead and move these folders for old projects over to OO admin. And then we're going to make the change to the Ohio DOT planning workflow to give consultants read access to 100 planning. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Make sure, of course, if you have something in one of these folders, that it's not something you want a consultant seeing, since that will be available for them to view now. Does anybody have any questions on that? It's kind of might have been confusing. I just kind of want to answer any questions in regards to that. No? Well, if you do, go ahead and send it in the chat, and we'll get back to you. Moving on, this weekend we're going to apply a new daily script with ProjectWise. Tom Powell, actually in District 4, asked if we could create a script that will notify his users in his district that documents have been checked out for longer than, I think he does a week. We're going to do 48 hours, kind of limit that back a little bit. So we thought this was a good implementation that we would just do statewide. That way we can notify users that documents have actually been checked out for more than 48 hours. When I ran the script, I was actually surprised at what I saw. I saw some users still have things checked out from April of last year. So that's been almost a year of having a document checked out. So I think this will be a good implementation into our ProjectWise environment. But just to give you guys, a heads up, we do have, again, we talked about this several times about the form stack. If you guys have any ideas about ProjectWise environment, go ahead and submit them. Again, Tom Powell had this idea. We really liked it, and we're going to go ahead and implement it this weekend. So along with that 100 planning folder change. So what the daily script, of course, is going to do, I already mentioned, it's going to notify ProjectWise users through an email. If you've had something checked out or exported greater than 48 hours, it's going to notify you of the node machine that you have it checked out, in case you have a laptop and a desktop in the office. It's going to give you the file path, the name of that folder, or that document, excuse me. And it's going to start this weekend, of course. To kind of give you what it's going to look like, here's an example of the email. You'll actually get it from our group here. So if you want to do a reply all, it's going to go to the ProjectWise team for any questions that you might have concerning the documents. Then you got a little script here just talking about what's happening. There is a link here to go to the document organizer. If you're not familiar with that, to check documents in, you can start there. But just to show you the column headers here, we have document name, we have the last time it was updated. So ProjectWise hasn't had this document updated since April 29th. The document location, you can click on this link. It's going to open up ProjectWise to that document itself. It doesn't matter if it's moved, but this was the last known location of it, since we do use document GUID for that. The status, so you can see up here it's checked out. And then these documents down here are exported. So you can kind of see the two differences between there and the node that it is connected to. Sorry if someone recognizes that node. I just thought this was a good example to show. Another thing we want to talk about is custom folders. We talked about this in the past in one of our webinars. Essentially what custom folders are in ProjectWise Explorer is it's a collection of data source favorites or bookmarks that a user can create. We enabled this for all users last weekend, so I don't know if you guys have noticed the new custom folders and the ProjectWise Explorer application at the bottom. I'm about to do a demo here, so we can go over that. So custom folders, it stores links to folders or documents, so you can do either or. It can also do URLs, which I don't really see a use of that, but it is an option there. And then you have two types of custom folders. You have a global custom folder and a personal custom folder. Global custom folders, administrators can create, nobody else. But the cool thing about it is all users can see it. And then a personal custom folders is your own little cubby. All users can create their own, and only the user can see their personal custom folder. Say that 3 times fast. Oof. So I'm going to go ahead and demo that here. So starting out, we're actually going to just go ahead and open up ProjectWise Explore. I'm in the Ohio DOT projects data source. Normally what we're used to is going into documents, going into active projects, going into the district, clicking on the county, and then clicking on the project that we want. So the cool thing with custom folders, it kind of eliminates the amount of clicks it takes to get to a project. So if we go ahead and minimize documents, we can see custom folders down here at the bottom. So it's at the same root as the documents. I see folders of other users. Since I'm an administrator, you will not see that. You will see global and personal. There's not much in global at the moment, but just a quick tip. In the applications folder here, there is the Create Workset app. I know there's quite a bit of clicks to get to that application. It took me 1, 2, 3 clicks to get to the exe now, instead of probably that 16 folder deep folder. But what we're actually going to focus on here is personal folders. So to create a personal folder, you just need to right click on personal folders and we can click create. So you can make this however you want. So I'm just going to demo one that says my projects, because I want a custom folder that keeps track of all my projects. So now I have a subfolder under personal folders for my projects. Now I can create another subfolder or sub custom folder that is underneath there. But since I have my projects, I want to actually start adding my projects. So here's the options to add a folder, add a document, or add a URL. We're going to add a folder since that's what the projects are. We're just going to go in and select a random project, and then we're going to hit OK. Right? So we can say this is the project I'm working on. So instead of going through District 5 and then going to the county and then clicking on the PED, I can just now come into my custom folders, my personal folders, my projects, and have my PID. So now I can work on this project without having to navigate the folder structure like before. Okay, you can add as many as you want. So we can go in, we'll add it even from another district. It doesn't really matter. You just tell it where the project is, and now I have 2 projects I can work on under my projects. Another good example of custom folders is if you have, we'll just say help documents. So if there's documents in ProjectWise that you find useful, you can create a folder for those. So just to give you an example of adding a document, we can click add document. We can click on folder structure and then hit open. So now that document is inside help documents. Mark Fox asks, can you go deeper engineering signals? Yes, you can. So if I go to create folder or add folder, I'm sorry, and we'll just go into a project. You can do that. Now keep in mind, it does use the folder that you selected. So I don't really know which signals this is unless I look up here. So if you were to do that, let's say you only work in the signals folder, I would come to my projects and create a folder for that PID, right? So I know this PID exists, so I'll just click on that. and then I'll click on that project. See this custom folder, I'm sorry, this custom folder, and then I can start creating links to things that I actually need. So if I go to, this one's in West Kingham, there we go. Okay, and just to go ahead and show this, I guess, if I right click this custom folder, there's a remove. This doesn't delete the folder. Again, this just deletes the link to the folder, okay? That's important to know. There's no way I can delete this project, this folder, or anything from the data source. You can actually see that it's grayed out here. I'm just removing it from my project's custom folder, okay? So now to give you an example, Mark, I have a PID, a custom folder, and then this goes directly to that signals folder, okay? And I can do that, you know, as much as I need to if I need to add more links in that regards. Okay. So I think that's about it for custom folders. Did anybody have any questions in regards to that? This was implemented last weekend, so everyone should have access to this now. If not, please give me an email. Send me an email in regards to getting this added into your profile. Can you jump to the actual signals location from the custom folder? What do you mean by that, JD?
Like you right click on it and go to location.
Well, when you click on it, oh, okay. Like take me to it under documents.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Good question. I don't know. Doesn't look like I can do that from here. I might be able to do it in the document list. Let's see. No, doesn't look like I can do that. Since it's just a bookmark. What are you saying, Kyle?
Oh, sorry, yeah. I think it's only an option under the search when you're actually doing a search inside of ProjectWise.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yep. So when I search for documents, that's when I get it. Like open folder location or file location.
Yeah. That's a good enhancement request, though.
Yeah, if we want to see that, that'd definitely be good. That way we can just we can right click this, open, I wonder what this is. It probably won't do it. But we can open like folder location and just kind of see where it is in the documents section here. So yeah, maybe we can send that as an enhancement. Okay. Right. Any other questions? All right. Ironically enough, we are going to frequently asked questions next. Just to go over a few things here that we get quite a bit. We have no prize, Mark. Sorry. I guess I don't know. Listen to me speak, is that entertaining? Just kidding. Connection client issues. I've seen this several times. I've gotten IMs about this several times. Usually after a new install of ProjectWise, or anything for that matter that installs connection client, you'll more than likely get this if you haven't restarted the machine. So it is important, just to restart the machine after every install. It's just common practice when you usually install software. So I would highly recommend that. If a restart does not fix this issue, there is another way to actually fix it. So I'm actually going to close out of this real quick if I can find my mouse. There we go. If we click in the hidden icons down here, we find the connection client icon. If we right click that, sometimes you might need to exit out of connection client
But yeah, as of right now, I don't know the exact cause of that.
But that is another way of fixing that issue, just so everyone is aware. Another issue is ProjectWise has no data sources. Usually after an install, whoever installed it might have forgotten to do the reg keys if they're doing it manually instead of through a batch file. So for you to get the registry keys added so you can see the 3 data sources, like you saw on my screen previously, you do need to be a local admin to run it, to add the reg keys, that is. So you can contact your district IT or contact central office if the problem still persists. Or you can IM one of us. I don't mind that either. Another issue, this one is very pixelated, but we did start seeing it say you need to install the component AutoTable for ProjectWise when trying to use AutoTable in ProjectWise. I'm not familiar with what actually broke this, if it was a Windows update or what it might have been, but the plugin for AutoTable for ProjectWise has been either deleted or it wasn't installed. So to fix this issue, you do need to uninstall AutoTable Connect Edition and reinstall it. And admins, for those who do the installs, there is a batch file and software packages that can install AutoTable for you. Now keep in mind, you want to make sure that AutoTable is uninstalled before you run the batch file. If you run the batch file over top of AutoTable that's already installed, it's just going to uninstall the product. So, all right, another issue I've seen, a few times here was when opening up AutoTable, you get prompted for a login. You do have to log into AutoTable. Since it is a different instance, you're opening this from OpenRoads Designer, not from ProjectWise. You just select a data source, which I probably should have shown here, but this was the error message that I screen captured. You want to select Ohio DOT projects because that's where all our projects are. And authentication, it says ProjectWise, so you can see that username and password you can fill in. You will never have to ever do a username and password. You want to change this authentication to Bentley IMS, and then you can log in. Now, when you do this with Bentley IMS and the data source selected, there is a check mark that displays down here that says keep me, like automatically sign me in, so you don't have to keep going through this dialogue. But just for common purposes and practices, this is how you would log into AutoTable. Okay. Any questions on those?
JD points out there's a video on that too, so on using AutoTable. I would also add that we just downloaded a AutoTable update. We're testing it out now, so we may be pushing out a new AutoTable here in the near future. Hopefully fix a couple little nagging issues that we've been having. So look for that coming soon.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Someone, I don't know, that my mic wasn't working. Sorry about that. So JD's favorite part of the presentation is ProjectWise Drive. So we're going to go into ProjectWise Drive and kind of what it is. We talked vaguely on this on some previous PowerPoints. But to show you kind of what it is, I'm going to give a demonstration. But first, kind of a description of what ProjectWise Drive is. It is not currently released. It is in public early access. So it is available to the public for us to start testing in our environment. But it is not an actual release. So ProjectWise Drive, we seen a lot of compatibility issues with some software and ProjectWise Explorer. To name a few, CDSS, there's been some hydraulics, which I'll actually on the next slide here go over some of those that we've already tested. But ProjectWise Drive does address those compatibility issues. We did have some testing done in those applications with ProjectWise Drive, thanks to Matt from District 9. It does have ease access, so you can get to your ProjectWise projects through File Explorer. You don't need to open ProjectWise Explorer to get to your projects, and when configured, you don't have to go to ProjectWise Web anymore. Synchronizes through a connected project, so for you to use ProjectWise Drive, your work area does need to be a connected project. If you're creating projects, which the only way to create projects is through the work area creation app that JD has written, that automatically creates a connected project when you do that. So all new projects, of course, when he made that update,
There's
have
a
connected
checkbox.
project.
There's
It's okay. Yeah, there's a checkbox which I believe is auto checked on by default, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so as long as you don't check that off, you'll get a connected project when you create that work area.
And if you don't have one, you can go in the modify mode of that app and create it later as well.
Yep. So in ProjectWise Drive, you can check out documents, check them in, you can free them all through File Explorer, and you can also add new folders and documents as well. So with ProjectWise Drive, some of the icons that you'll see are pretty similar to the ones that you see in ProjectWise Explorer, a little different. But if you do see the lock icon, that means that of course the document's checked out. If you see a pencil, it means you have write access. Instead of the book, you do see a pencil with a line through it. That means you have read access. If you see this tag, that shows that it's final status. So if you do want to revert that back to one of these two, you do need an administrator to do that, just like you would in ProjectWise Explorer. You have this, I don't even know what this is, a sun, kind of. That just essentially means it's a new document. And then we have the checked out icon, which is a red box with an arrow pointing to the bottom right. And then a notebook essentially just assembles the project folder itself, which we'll show here in a bit. So some of the software that we tested was CDSS, HECRES, Estimator, HY8. We do still want to test Trimble Business Center in there as well with surveyors. Thanks to again Matt for District 9 for testing this out in ProjectWise Drive. All right, so we'll go ahead and demo ProjectWise Drive here. Go ahead. Okay. So ProjectWise Drive is a just to point out, just to point out, it is a standalone install, so you would need ProjectWise Drive installed on your machine in order to use it. But that's all you need. You could technically just install ProjectWise Drive. You don't need ProjectWise Explorer or Connection Client on your machine to use it. You just need internet access and ProjectWise Drive installed. So to start with ProjectWise Drive, we want to go ahead and go to connect.bentley.com. Okay, so this is ProjectWise Web. We need to go ahead and access one of our connected projects. So to do so, we'll click on the Projects tab up here and find the project that we want to sync. So we have My Projects. These are projects that I've been added to. And then we have the favorites. I'm just going to select one of these. We'll do, I think this one has documents in it. And we're going to go to ProjectWise Web Connections. And this takes us to the work area inside ProjectWise, our ProjectWise data source. Okay. So now that we have this connection open, it's just like we would see in ProjectWise Explorer. I can go ahead and click the three dots over here on the top right, and it's a little cut off, but you can see there's yellow tab up here. That's just essentially showing that this is early access. It's not fully implemented. But we can click ProjectWise Drive options. Again, notice the early access. And all we have to do is click synchronize this project. Okay, so this project isn't going to synchronize until I hit save. but just to go ahead and show you, this is what ProjectWise Drive looks like on File Explorer. Okay, so we have the ProjectWise icon, and these are some other projects that I've synced. Okay, so now I currently have 4. So we're going to go ahead and hit save, and this is going to sync. You can see the start synchronization down here. So now if I go to File Explorer, once it's done syncing, you can see that the refresh button here showing that this project is currently syncing. Okay. All right, and that's all I need to do through ProjectWise Web. So we can go ahead and close that out. Okay. So to go over some of the icons that we can see, we have the cloud icon. So when I sync this project, it doesn't copy everything to my machine. That would probably just take forever. It just creates pointers to the documents in the cloud, essentially. So you can see the cloud. So that means that it's still in our ProjectWise data source. Now here you can see the pencil icon that shows that I have write access to this document. So we're just going to open up Scratch here. And you can see the lock icon here. So this is showing that this DGN's checked out. So I cannot check out this document. Okay. So it essentially works like you would on your iDrive. It's File Explorer. You can right click open with if you want. But I want to point out a few things here since this is an early access. I think I just saw something. I don't know if I created. Okay. So I'm going to double click this PDF. You can see that the cloud icon has changed to a green check mark. This is a little confusing. We've actually talked to Bentley about this already. But when I double click a document like this PDF, it does not check it out. And that's important to remember. It essentially is opening it as read only. So if I open up this Excel file, it's copying it out to my machine, so it's still in the ProjectWise data source, but the green check mark is showing that it's copied locally to my machine. So you can see that I've opened this Excel file as read only, okay? So I can close out of this. Now to check out a document, you can right click the document itself and go down to check out, okay? So this pencil icon is now going to change to a red square with the arrow going down. And now that I've actually checked out this document, I can open this Excel file. And you can see that that read-only access has gone away. So now I can make changes however I'd like to. I can close out of it, save it, whatever you want to do first. Click Save. And the refresh button here, I don't know if you guys can see that when we click off of it. You can see the little refresh icon. That's saying that there's been changes done to the local file and it has not been updated to ProjectWise data source. And you can actually hover over that and see the available status says sync pending. Okay. So let's say I'm done with the file. I want to check it in, right? So I'll right click this. I'll click on this file, right click it, and check in document. Now, of course, if I didn't want to keep my changes, I still have the option for free. So since I do want to keep my changes, I can click check in. It's going to check in that document automatically. So the cool thing is, let's go ahead and close out of this. I'm going to go ahead and open up a application that's not integrated with ProjectWise. So let me actually just open up a document. Okay. Here's a TIFF. I'll just open a TIFF. This is on District 9 server. So this is one of their TIFF images. That was a bad example because you can't, it's already saved. I need to open up a PDF. I have one. So I'm just going to open this I got a lot of stuff in this folder, but CTemp, I'm going to open up, I guess, this licensing file, right? And then I'm going to go to File, Save As. Since this is CTemp currently, you can see that the ProjectWise Drive is in the File Explorer left side pane. So if I click on this project, I can now navigate down to the folder and ProjectWise data source that I want to add it to. So we can go ahead and hit save, close out. So now you can see that that document that was not integrated is now in the ProjectWise Drive format, right? So now we see a new icon. This is that sun we showed that essentially means new. This project has not been added into ProjectWise Explorer yet. So to do that, you need to click on the document, right click it, add to ProjectWise. And you can do this as a bulk update essentially. So if there were 100 files, I can, Control A, import into ProjectWise and create. So now you can see that it's syncing to our ProjectWise data source, and we have that pencil icon now, so it's checked in. Okay. That workflow is a little tedious. We actually are, and I'll have to agree with that. Most of you are probably already saying that muted. It's like, wow, we got to add it to ProjectWise. But Bentley does have this community that I'm a part of, that I have mentioned some things that I would like updated, and that was one of them. I told them if I click and drag in a file or right click new document, that it adds it into ProjectWise automatically, so I don't have to right click add to ProjectWise. And they came back and said that that is going to be implemented once this is out of early access. So again, this isn't early access, so everything you see here could change, hopefully for the better. And I think adding the documents automatically instead of right-clicking the file itself and clicking add to ProjectWise is going to be better. So I don't think anyone will disagree on that one. Okay. Another cool feature is I can click on a document here, right-click, open in ProjectWise Web. So that's pretty neat. So if I wanted to open up ProjectWise Web and work on it there, I can do that just with a single right-click of a document. It's going to open the folder and highlight the document that I had right-clicked selected. From here, I can go to ProjectWise Explorer if I wanted to and open it in ProjectWise Explorer. So there's many ways I can get to this document through the web or through ProjectWise Explorer. Okay, so there's the document. And you can also see the document that I added right here, hexagon, geospatial, PDF. So I can go ahead and open this document up. We'll open up in Bluebeam this time. And I'll do it as read only. So I want to do that, and then I want to go back to, ProjectWise Drive. Oh, read only, so never mind. I messed that up already and checked it out. Okay. But you guys get the point. I was just going to check it out essentially, but I forgot I opened it up as read only. So Project Explorer Drive does not. Yes, JD is correct. I don't know if you guys see that, but DGN files will still need to be opened through ProjectWise Explorer. ProjectWise Drive is not intended for DGN files. It's more again, ProjectWise Web is more focused on Office 365 users or any other application outside of DGNs. Okay. Well, that's all I had to show. Hopefully you guys follow along and I didn't bore you guys too much. But does anybody have any questions?